Right. And you don't want me to introduce who the characters are? There's two, because I'm going to open with Jay as the central character. Okay, so we'll put his name in there. Instead of he, and his mother. And no, I think it can be understood with that in the introduction. Yeah? Okay? When Jay finally took his last backward glance at Stockton, he remembered how he'd searched for a route out of there ever since he was a child, a westward dash that would follow the waterway to the ocean, his only romantic indulgence. Unreproachful, his mother had done her time and didn't abandon Jay until the appropriate juncture, which she deemed to be the day after he graduated from high school on the 23rd of June, 1966. Cuffed and collared in a new cocoa blouse, she gave him $93 and a shoulder pat, her gloved hand tucking a curl under her white pillbox as she boarded a silver Greyhound for LA. Jay followed her progress down to the middle of the bus, where she settled in a window seat, behind glass that was smeared with the heavy interstate dust. She sat there waving a radiant goodbye, even blew Jay an extravagant kiss. So delighted was she to be leaving after all that interminable waiting, finally unshackled from the nail-biting tedium of counting the months till it seemed acceptable to make the move. When the bus pulled away in a cloud of exhaust, Jay waited for a quiet rage to wash over him, for he knew his mother didn't really care if she ever set eyes on her youngest son again. Instead, he felt cleansed of the humiliation of being born at all, relieved that she no longer felt compelled to stay put against her will. As the bus receded into the lightening horizon, Jay understood that he was the recipient of an inadequate mothering, and he must simply repair that fault like he would change a bike tire. Over the years, he had generously shared this valuable insight with his clients, convincing at least some of them that a lack of mother love need not, in fact, be an impediment at all. But it was becoming increasingly difficult to get clients to embrace this position. Lately, the industry of therapy has raised the bar and overcomplicated the issue. Having a mother is not the simple business it was once thought to be. Any rationing of love and affection, the slightest childhood trauma, and his clients expect to teeter on the brink of a possible disintegration, a gaping, festering loss that they will schlep around with them for the rest of their lives. Rental prices kept his mother on the northern periphery of LA, and she settled in Van Nuys, 30 square miles of farmland in the San Fernando Valley that was exploding into suburbia in the mid-60s. A Spanish-style duplex near the railroad tracks, just above Satakoy in Woodman, half an hour's drive from Robert. With dutiful regularity, she wrote to Jay every Monday, telling him how the move had been a seamless transition, how Robert took her every month to Nate and Ali's Deli and North Beverly Drive for hand-pressed potato cakes. A long way from Stockton, she exclaimed. And Jay could see her installed in one of the Northside booths, where waitresses and pinstripes showered visit to the Anheuser Busch Gardens in the afternoon. Robert ferried her to scenic route to warm beer and donuts, and the park around showed trees and tropical birds that squawked and dive around Palm Drive, where Jay was shocked to see his mother so carefree in her red bumper car, clutching her headscarf and laughing like a girl while Robert wrenched at the steering wheel. From a small curved footbridge, Jay monitored their covered gondola ride along the waterways, past gushing fountains and waterfalls spilling out over the rocks, over to the brewery where you could look in and see the Budweiser being brewed. That same night, his mother discovered an extraordinary affection for the parrots that landed easily on her wrist, to peck at seeds in her cupped palm. 3 months later, Jay arrived at Van Nuys on Christmas Day to find a veiled, domed cage on the table. "It will live for 50 years, Robert announced with a flourish, whipping off the cover to reveal a large African grey who shuffled its black claws along a wooden perch, shallow eyes like dials, lifeless, unblinking. "Oh, he's just wonderful," his mother cried, and the parrot cocked his blunt head to one side, as if he recognized her voice. "What will I call him?" already got a name. Robert pointed to a small ceramic disc at the top of the cage. Peter, said Jay, stepping closer. The bird flapped hysterically, feathers whirling to the floor. He doesn't like you, said his mother. He knows you don't like him. Peter nodded, twitched a long grey tail with a crimson splash at the vent. African greys sometimes pluck out their feathers when they're bored, warned Robert, reading aloud from a leaflet. Peter settled on his perch, squeezing a contemptuous dropping while he fixed a malevolent eye on Jay. You need to get safe toys for his cage, Mom. Robert tapped the instructions. Parrots can be strangled by some of the ropes they like to swing on. Peter never demonstrated any interest in coherent speech, but he thrived in Van Nuys and became a regular mention in her mother's letters to Jay, which had, by the late 1960s, become more infrequent. Although the parrot didn't live to be 50, he did outlast Robert by a few months, during which time he seemed a rare and blessed comfort to their mother. But late in 1971, Southern California was ravaged by exotic Newcastle disease, a fatal virus that travelled on shoes and clothing, and millions of demented birds succumbed to tremors and anorexia before thudding to the ground, a green discharge leaking from their dead eyes. It was like the visitation of a great plague. You could drive along the valley and see rotting carcasses on the freeway. Jay's mother stopped, leaving Peter's cage out on the balcony, where he was visible to passers-by. She even tried to keep him quiet by draping a sheet over him. But Peter was having none of it, squawked his noisy protest, a blood-curdling and unmistakably avian shriek that eventually brought the Department of Agriculture to her front door. I'm sorry, ma'am. African greys are carriers, said the official. He showed her their compulsory permits. It's a statewide euthanasia program, the only way to protect the fowl, the foodstuffs. And he took out a tank of carbon monoxide, a plastic bag, and a rubber hose. 12 million birds, he sighed, $65 million, and he stuffed Peter into the bag and gassed him